dum.
Say it, MG. Say it.
I said it already. You weren't listening.
I didn't hear.
You were listening slow.
Say it slow.
Pause. Very pause. Pause words.
El Starto Streamo. Av, run the intro.
All right, here we go. Yeah. Intro is done.
What's up, everybody? It's CMP with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com. Don't forget to stop by Studio One Tutorials. Pick up your premium membership. It is 50 cents a day. MG the Future, please tell them what you're about.
It's MG, you know what I'm about. Core Book Volume 1, MGTheFuture.com. Go ahead and grab that if you're a Scalar user. You'll love it. Put it with all your 808 packs and MIDI packs, and you'll have a great summer. Let's
I got that chord pack. It is fire.
Hey, appreciate it.
Good stuff. Yeah, I need to do one. I need to do a chord pack my damn self. But hey, and the messed up part about it, when I saw
MG
the pack,
felt that one. MG felt that one.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, I'll bet you got to do a chord pack now. Isn't that interesting? All of a sudden, Av has to do a chord pack now. That's so curious. Never seen Av do a chord pack. But you know what? I got a video about that I'm about to make.
Oh, man. Better do it before Palace when the AP does it.
Oh. Now, your hit Palace joint is going to be 100% your shit and somebody else and the Unison audio back. That's somebody else.
1,000 chords. The last chords you will ever need.
I love it, man. So what's up, Av? What are we doing here today? What we got going on? What's on the spicy docket?
Oh, man. Well, we definitely got to talk about the Takashi 6ix9ine case. We got to talk about that.
All right. What else you got? That's the main spice. We gonna save that for last.
We got to talk about it. Sit down, everybody, and welcome to the episode of Spice Tendo People's Court. Copyright strike coming soon.
Oh, hell no.
Man, I swear to God, they better not. It's gonna be claimed by UMG too, because you know how UMG roll. They like they want it all.
I got one. I got one we could start off with, bro. Did you see? You know that Minor to Go, buddy from Looperman, has been going around like posting on his. It started a few months ago. He was posting on his IG like, look at all these Polo G songs I placed, and look at all these melodies I placed from Looperman, and he was asking, he was asking for his clout coin, hat in hand, asking for the clout coin. So I guess this week, shit, hold on one second. Let me pull up the actual article. Somebody they did it on the Fader, which that's a pretty nice piece of press, right? Like that's not a bullshit blog, right?
Right.
So Fader came out with a headline talking about how an uncredited German producer's free loops are powering platinum rap hits. In platinum, I don't know, but
fuck it. How Looperman loops are powering Genius review videos. They should have just started like that.
Word.
Yeah, so it was cool, because there's been a discussion. I don't know why, bro. Like Av, can you call DJ Payne 1 and ask him who's been giving him a hard time about loops? Because
Lord Jesus,
yo,
Payne 1 will love this discussion.
yo, bro got like 3 tweets a day talking about, guys, rap is loops. Like, who's giving DJ Payne One a hard time about loops, bro? Like,
Hey,
I know, bro, nobody is fucking with DJ
may
Payne
I
One
object to that?
damn loop,
May I object this for a second here?
Sure, we're in the people's court today.
Yo, so when it comes down to the whole loop thing, regardless of royalty free, this, that, and the third, you got the group of people that feel like, hey, if you use loops, you're not real. Then you got the next group of people that feel like, well, if I pay for royalty free loops, I shouldn't have to pay you again for like these loops that I didn't make anyways. All I did was throw a drum line in. You got those people. And then you also have the people
actually drag and drop the drum line in too. They're not even doing that no more.
Producers, like platinum producers at that.
Platinum producers, deconstructed producers.
but what I was thinking,
we don't need to switch it up every 4 bars. Let's let that shit run.
Yeah, bro. But what I'm saying is like this week, it seemed like
house music.
it seemed like a concerted like. Because I nudge on social media, I nudge on YouTube, so it seemed like bro was trying to nudge this conversation that it's like, yo, and it was a weird one too, right? Because it's like, yo, there's nothing wrong with making loop-based music, you know, and right. he wasn't talking about using loops. He was talking about making music that was loop-based, you know. Right. It was weird, but that came on the heels of this conversation. You know, the article starts with Umbrella and how, you know, and how Polo used the loop in that, and how, you know, looping isn't the devil, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And so we get into the Minor to Go situation where he posted like a page long call out of all of his credits, and it started a discussion where people were asking like, yo, is this fair? How come he's not getting production credits, so on and so forth. So I when that happened, I was interested in, so I went and I signed up to Looperman. And you have a Looperman account, Av?
No. Fill me in on that, because I hear people talk about it.
MG, do you have a Looperman account?
No, but I'm very familiar with the site.
Okay, so for you guys out there that haven't went through the trouble to actually sign up for this site, let me tell you how annoying this shit is, bro. Because it's not just like a BeatStars where you go, you sign up, you pay your money. No, this is a site which is ran by one person, and this one person has an ideology. Their ideology is that these loops are free for the community. If you upload these loops, they're community property, and when you go through this process of signing up, it's arduous. It takes days, right? So it says, first of all, you cannot put in any separate terms that is any different from mine. And my terms are these 100% royalty free. He tells you 3 times
like
you
Splice.
Cannot. So he tells you 3 times you cannot charge for anything that you put on my site. Once you put on my site, you release it out to the world. Number 4, just try to make the loops as relevant as possible to the title. You know, those are pretty much the main rules. So the point is if you upload to Looperman, any of you people who are thinking that Looperman is the play to get you into the record industry, once you upload to Looperman, you are intentionally, with purpose, saying these loops, I need no credit for them. I'm not expecting credit for them, and I'm not expecting any payment.
So you don't even get paid? It's just you just make loops.
It's like just making loops for fun, man. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you have that. So knowing that information, let's start with Av. What do you think about Minor to Go's media campaign to get payment for or to get recognition for his Polo G placements? Because real quick, in the article, they point out that they're all royalty-free loops, and Minor to Go claims that he's not looking for payment, but he's just kind of sad that no one's like called him or given him a shout out.
Well, I mean, dog, like whatever starts off free ends up free. That's the rule. Just some elder taught me that a long time ago, man. He's like, hey, like I was sitting there trying to give beats out to people or whatever, like around, that I seen because I wanted placements or whatever. And, he was like, man, look, I'm going to tell you right now. He's like, don't get your hopes up, expectations that you're going to actually get pulled out the hood because you can make beats or whatnot, because what starts off free ends up free. And he's like, and do you see me giving out, like, because he ran a CD duplication company, because at the time, you can get those type of deals from like labels, because not every label had their own CD duplication company or whatnot. So, but yeah, he was just saying, like, I wouldn't give away my business for free, so you shouldn't do that your damn self. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's it. I mean, best of luck to him if he does get paid for it or not. It's just to wrap it up. I ain't gonna be long. We was just talking. I remember when MSX Audio, when my homie Simp over there, M Simp. I hate that he M Simp, but but he's solid. He's solid though. You know what I'm saying? Good, real dude.
I'm sure he is. It's just, but it's an easy one to play with.
But he was saying, man, he said, could we stop with all the bragging and the capping, clout tokens?
Yeah, that was a good.
And saying that you got this placement, you got your album's platinum or whatever, you're a part of a platinum project, but yet a week later you're going to talk about how broke you are and how they ain't pay you and shit like that. It looks really silly. I'm just paraphrasing at this point. But yeah, it was funny. Clout rules everything around me. He used the cream abbreviations and shit. I thought it was funny.
He was saying, guys, can we stop bragging about our placements before we get a check?
Right.
Which I think that's a super bar, bro, because that goes into kind of the climate and the paradigm of the producer community at the present time. Like, everybody is so excited to get the acknowledgement of somebody actually using their beat that they'll celebrate that before the business,
right,
right. which is super suspect. MG, what did you think about Minor to Go's play here?
I think he's trying to get some money, bro. You know what the deal is. You know what it really is. A lot of our brothers from Germany need a girlfriend, and to get a girlfriend, they need money. And if they do something that's associated with something popping in America, they want to get paid. Yo, tell me with this. And I think he should get paid if he wants to press that button. He just hasn't pressed that button yet because he's European and not American. And what I mean is, what he's doing is about to set the precedence to fuck up our whole economy as loop makers. I mean is, if he presses the button, say for like Sound Exchange, right? If he claims credit, so his whole thing is bickering that Polo G and people affiliated with all those other placements have not reached out to him, right? Because it's similar to us, like, using the loop that comes with Fruity Loops and making a banger, and like Image Line going, whoa, you guys didn't reach out to us. Although you already bought the pack in the software, you should reach out to us because we got a record now.
They reached out to us YouTube content creators, that's for sure. They want theirs.
So he's escalating it. Now he's going, but guys, on a philosophical level, I know the terms I agreed to when I uploaded these loops, but on a philosophical level, there's like 20 of these bigger songs out there, and I don't want to alienate the other 5,000 people who downloaded it for free. So I think I should be compensated because I care about them. And it's starting not to make sense. And I hate people who pussyfoot around their intentions because, bro, just say it. You have over 20 placements from Loops on Looper, man, and you have nothing to show for it. Now you want to pursue action, and you need someone to help you figure out how. And the first thing you do is go on a press run, trying to get everyone to sympathize with you. When the Instagram stories didn't do it, now he's trying to go to the EDM magazines and do it. And what's going to happen is he's going to fuck it up for everybody else because all he has to do is get on Sound Exchange, register the loops, and claim that he was an instrumentalist or musician and position that letter to the label that released these songs. Little does he know, these songs ain't making no damn money, so it's much ado about nothing. But then once it gets escalated and he gets named as personnel and he's owed anything, then he's going to try to weasel his way into co-production credit, and that's going to break the fucking Jenga castle. I'm telling you. It's like, I love Germans and German engineering and German occult stuff, but when it comes to their music producers who do hip-hop, they're just fucking this whole thing up, bro. And I don't get it.
Yeah, it's not cool. I think you guys did a good job of laying that out. What I would add is just to somebody like Minor or Minor himself is like, bro, like here's the play. You know, you went and you signed up to this service, and they told you, you know, very directly like what you cannot get done from that, and now you're trying to get that from this service that you agreed to, that you would not pursue this. So what I don't understand is why someone like Minor to Go, you know, doesn't, like, bro, if you're going on this press run, you should have been had the site set up. You should have been had 4 packs in the work. You should have been had a MIDI drum kit. You should have been paid Av McCree to ghost produce you a fucking drum kit. You know what I mean? You should, nah, facts, bro. Break Av off with a rack, dude, and you know, take care of him, and then you wind up with your own Minor to Go kit that you can make residuals on. Like that's where you should have been with it, you know, to go and you know, approach an EDM magazine and just make the play like all you want is for somebody to call you up, or to you know, for one of those big producers to give you a shout out, bro. Like that's thirsty hoe shit, dude. Like I don't know if that's a thing where it's just you're from another country and you think that America's cool and you just want the guys over here to say, hey bro, we see you. But that's not the play, bro. You should be a lot more business minded in your pursuits as far as this is concerned, because you made somebody some money and now it's time to get yours. But the way that you're going about doing it right now, it's on the verge of rampant fuckboyism, and you should watch yourself, bro. Enjoy your success, because it's coming. But you know, just move right, man. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, everybody gets screwed, man. Like that's one thing. Hell, again, just reverting back to last week's podcast. Like we always talk about like every producer that's really on, I guess, quote unquote, to whatever extension. They always talk about the success stuff, but they'll never talk about how they got waxed on their first couple of deals. They don't talk about a whole bunch of this stuff. Even when last week I sat there and was talking to Zaytoven like at this private meeting or whatnot, and like he was like, bro, he's like,
did Av just admit he was in the bootleg?
Y'all just don't want to believe the truth.
Well, I mean, it's not like that. It was, but you know, he was telling me, he's like, bro, he's like, you know, I remember hearing your music in the studio and blah blah whoop whoop. I'm like, what? I was like, for real, because we all work with the same people. You know what I'm saying? Zaytoven pretty much worked with like everybody in East Atlanta, and someone was like everybody out there. Like, anyways, like he was just saying, like, yeah, man, I stayed in the crib with my mom's during that time. I mean, and that's factual. You can go to the Red Bull YouTube channel and watch his documentary. You know, he talks to his parents and stuff like that. Like, think about being a multi-platinum producer, putting out all these hits with Gucci Mane in his essence, like his biggest moments, and yet you're still staying in your parents' basement. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people actually think that you're going to be the shit. Like 100% got a big mansion and all this stuff, but there's never the story that's behind that. Like Swiss Beats being a limo driver for Rough Riders. I mean, not even for Rough Riders, for what's that? I can't think of the group, man. The Locks. There we go. Whoops. Yeah. But yeah, like nobody really wants to tell the real story that every producer needs to hear. They just want to, want their moment to shine, and it even happens with the artists too, bro. And it really needs to happen where they tell the come up, because that's what's more interesting, anyways. Stop trying to say that for like Hollywood.
You know what I think is interesting is if, say this goes the way that MG is talking about, right? Like say he is able to leverage song trust and wind up getting pieces of all those songs as far as monetary compensation. What do you think the consequence would be for the royalty-free loop making community? Because it's growing. it's bustling.
What I think the future will be like.
Yeah. Do you think that people like do you think that people who are closer to artists that are getting placements would be inclined to use royalty free loops, or do you think that would push them further away from it?
Man, it's already happening, man. Like it just spread it like wildfire. I guess when the whole producer grind thing popped, like what was it last year when Cassius was talking about, man, I'd rather just grab royalty free loops and stuff like that, and just push out beats like by 10 pack here, a 20 pack there, just using loops than just sitting there and creating melodies and stuff like that. So I mean, with that being said, everybody is focused on royalty-free loops, but I think the future of it is all about, you know, having your niche community and serving the best loops. I mean, that's what really happens. I mean, everything gets saturated, but the people that are known for doing quality stuff are always going to be at the top of the.
No, but I mean if this kid sets a precedent for getting paid for a product that was labeled royalty free. You know what I mean? And works his way on, you know, into points on the record after the fact, and works his way into production credit after the fact. Do you think that would change the the culture of production at all? Yeah.
I guess I think a lot of people somebody's gonna get salty. Everybody's gonna get salty. I mean, like that's just it is what it is. That's why I prep myself to like, man, sometimes, you know, royalty free, I guess, and then this time I might, if I put the extra length on the loops or whatever, it's not like you would deliver less, but you know what I'm saying, sometimes I might want to have credit. I'm not asking for 75%, but hell, I did do the melody. Give me a little bit of credit. God damn. You know what I'm saying? Because hell, think about if Old Town Road, well, I mean, it was a Creative Common, so that was that until they put it out like what it is, of course, for it to be the moneymaker. You know, think about Old Town Road if it really didn't come out to be what it was. But now that it is that, think about produced by Kyle or whatever, which, to my surprise, is signed to Cash Money AP. And I don't know how you would sign to another nigga that signed, but you know, I just thought about that. It's like, whatever. But
he was signed before.
He was signed to him so he could work exclusively with Electo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't bother with some of these things, man. I see the headline. I'm actually one of the people that you will get mad at because you only read the headline when it comes to certain things.
You're not a deep diver.
No, I sometimes I don't press play on certain things just cause. But
that's church.
That's treacherous.
What I think is going to happen, like with the royalty free people positioning production or album credit and getting any kind of precedence or pay, just like the Marvin Gaye estate's doing with all these people. What I think it'll do is break the trust of the community that already lacks as it is. Because a lot of this stuff is it's like it's self-perpetuating karma on one level, where it's like, you know, people put out, like Av said, I worked on these melodies, I put them out, and you're trying to bootleg them off of Audio Z, or I put out these melodies and I want credit, but somebody else downloads it and sends it to you. You thinking it's royalty free. Now you guys are all caught up. I think people are just taking too much shortcuts in this race to the bottom of catching a placement with rapper Little Shiny Chain. And I think it's escaping us. And when people like these Germans are doing, when they're trying to figure out how the music business should work in their favor, they're going to end up closing the trapdoor for a lot of us, man. And it is real jacked up. And I don't mean like the people chasing placements. I'm just talking about the standard operations of doing business. You saw, who was that brother that was on Splice alluding to the fact that Splice might be doing a non-royalty free section, right? You're starting to see this conversation happen a lot more often, and I just don't think it's going to be a healthy outcome. I think it's going to get played out in corny. So
yeah, whatever starts off royalty free ends up royalty free. I would say, I guess.
Not always. There's been some cases where people have looped back around for it. That's why these kids are so mad. You know, like, you know, when they catch one, they're like, oh, but I thought the pack was royalty free, and then they come back, it's like, oh, you changed the EULA and shit like that, or at least that's what they claim. But I think that from people I talk to that are, that are creating inside of inside Miami studios with record labels. There's already there's already kind of a push to have your how they say to like to have your own folders. Not necessarily the shit that everybody else can get a hold of. So I think there's like from from the actual industry standpoint, there's an actual moving away from just using anybody's shit, because what winds up happening is the rapper comes in and they heard your loop when they were in Atlanta, and it's like, damn, I thought I was getting some new shit when I came to Miami. Like I drove, we got 800 miles south, and it's still the same beats over here. So that's happening. But I think where this gets the messiest is by the people who are working with the new artists, using that minor to go loop, using that Uzi loop, using that Southside loop from Splice, and then trying to level up their production faster, and then catch one. And I think I agree, MG. Like if he winds up being able to make the play like that, it's gonna be nasty, bro. Like that shit is not cool. And it also brings into question, like, if you're one of these people who have been watching us for a while and you want to get into making loops, maybe and selling loops, maybe you want to think about what type of creator you want to be. And do you want to be royalty free? Is it necessarily worth it? Because I mean, once once me and MG started doing Spicy Sundays, a 10-pack a week for you guys, like there's dude, YouTube got flooded with a whole bunch of 10-packs, and you only know what you're shown. Like our stuff is royalty free because we genuinely don't have an interest with placing those loops. Like those are, as you can believe it or not, those are there for you guys to work with us. It's for us to collaborate with you in the spirit of fun. But if you're one of these people who want credit and who want money, I just make sure that you're upfront about it. And there's plenty of agreements online from different loop packs that you could copy. They all say the same thing. Like, you can use this for whatever you want unless it's a major placement, and if it's a major placement, I need co-production credit, points on the record, and we'll negotiate it on a track by track basis. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Let me address a question from the chat real quick.
What you got?
Madman says Looper Man is filled with mid, but you got to dig for the good stuff. But I do think it's a good place for people to build a following. Here's the thing: if you're a music producer or a composer, you do not want a music producer following. And I think this is where people are getting fucked up.
Use your common sense.
You're a music producer. Why do you want a following of music producers? Like, I don't understand it. Like,
somebody in the chat chime in and explain to us why you want producers to follow you. Between these three chats, I know someone has the answer.
But I'm going to explain to it how it pertains to Minor to Go. If Minor to Go has 5,000 other producers downloading his stuff, not necessarily following him, but downloading his stuff, and they're not paying attention who put the loop there. They're paying attention to the loop itself. They're not going to make these records with Little Baby and Gunna and all these people and go back, I'm following Minor to Go, let me do the right thing. I bet they don't even know. I bet they don't even know. And 9 times out of 10, I bet the person that made and placed the beat didn't download the loop himself. Like, you guys are forgetting, when you put out this free stuff, like CMP said, we'll put out a pack. Someone else is now putting out a pack. These kids on Reddit are putting out a pack. It's going to take that one kid to come and get all packs every week and repackage that, and they can edit the metadata and change our names, and we even know. And then we hear it on the radio and go like, oh, that's interesting. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you're working with people who think like that, you're not getting nothing out of it. So why do you want that following? Why do you want that Audio Z and Reddit bandwagon train? It gets you nowhere. What you want to do is good business and find out what good business is for you. You're not going to sneak into it by building a following on Splice or Looperman or whoever's platform. None of us that are talking on this podcast right now built the following full of producers because we're sitting there trying to figure out where to put our presets and loops at. That's an afterthought. And 9 times out of 10, that's a request. It's not even like what we set out to do. So it's like, like people are putting their feet in the wrong path. A lot of these guys who play guitar and have all these guitar loops and loop pedals, they just need an outlet for it to go somewhere because they have a full-time job doing something else. But if you're trying to develop a following full-time as a music producer, you need to look for rappers, artists, and managers, bro. Why are you looking for people to collab with you? What are we talking about? Have you not seen how these stories end? Look at Producer Grind. Look at any Producer Grind interview from a year ago or 2 years ago where all these people were collaborating, and ask yourself, do they have any placements this year?
Oh,
what are we talking about? What are we talking about? You guys don't see the light. That's all right. We'll keep going.
I think that God damn it. Why do I always gotta do this? But I think that it's a thing where people are overvaluing social media engagement, and what they do is they first look to others who have big social media followings, and then they say, okay, so if I could have that, then the other things that I want are going to start filling out the brackets, right? So people look like a channel like me and MGs and see that we sell sound kits. Like, a lot of you guys don't realize that's not where we started. Like, I didn't get on YouTube like, yo, it's gonna be lit. I'm gonna get 10,000 subs, and then I'm gonna make some loops and I'm gonna sell them. That's what I'm gonna do.
There you go buy like the rest of your following.
Yeah, bro. Like nah, bitch. That's not what I got out here to do, bro. Like, bro, I didn't get on YouTube to have a subscription site. You know what I mean? Like, that was a subscriber request because one of my subs wanted me to review products, and I was like, dog, I'm not downloading the crack just to make a fucking video for you guys. And bro was like, well, if you had a subscription site, then you could have the money to buy whatever plugins you want. I'm like, dog, you smart, bro. I'm gonna do that. But yeah, the play is to MG said this before. I know that Av does this. I don't know why he does it. It's like such a waste of time, but it's the reason why I don't do beat reviews, bro. Like, I'm not trying to listen to none of you fucking guys' beats, bro. Ooh. And it's not it's not because I don't think that your beats are good. My perspective on it was when I was starting to learn how to produce on a computer, I sent my beats into somebody to do a beat review, and I had an instinct to mix 808 drums and acoustic sounds before like Travis Scott, Days Before Rodeo and all that stuff was a thing. And bro told me, he's like, yo, whenever you do 808 drums, keep it all digital. It just sounds the best. And then, I didn't go down that path and keep on being creative. And I kept making, Lil Wayne type beat drums. And then this rodeo shit hits, and then boom, like, look, that's what everybody's doing. And you could have been there doing it, but you listen to the guy who has the tutorial site that's doing beat reviews. Like, why are you listening to another producer? The only person that you need to listen to when it comes to beats is a rapper. You know what I mean? Because rappers are the most important part of rap music.
Say it again for the people in the back. Man, I can't, man. And that's the main thing. Like, oh, my bad. I was making sure I won't cut nobody up, but that's the main thing. Like, that was the whole purpose of me stopping the beat reviews. I was like, bro, like, my opinion is just my opinion. That's it. Like, what you're looking for is a general opinion of the public. Those are the people that really matter. Like, the people that actually listen to music. Like, you can for real go to beat reviews, and I guess if you feel like you're getting promoted because somebody listened to your beat, or you go to a Southside Periscope or his IG and hope that he say that, oh man, you're nice. That is not getting you your placement. Like, that's not going to get you your placement. Like, what is going to happen is, like, you're going to keep on trying to please other producers. And that, again, is what's been said already. Go find an artist. There are plenty of artists out here that you probably don't want to work with because they don't have the clout tokens of somebody like a Lil Wayne, or, my bad, Young Thug. What's the newest cats out here? Because I don't really know.
Gunna, Little Baby, Dub Baby,
Tekka. Right.
Tech Money.
You're not working with other people because they don't have that clout, but you don't realize that they had to start somewhere too. Like nobody wanted to work with those niggas either. I remember when Young Thug was like way back in Bankhead, nobody really cared about him, and then all of a sudden Done Deal worked with his ass, and then nobody knew who Done Deal was. Not to the masses, everybody in Atlanta knew, but they got that I'm a stoner off, and that's it. That's how things work. That's how shit works.
Yeah. It's so real life, real people, real connections. And unfortunately, as you're mastering your craft, you think just throwing it out without a following is going to get you a following. And it's usually something else that gets you a following, man. And for me, it's always been to the tune of a request or someone nudging me. It's never been on my own accord. Like, no idea that I've had to just do something because I think it's cool actually ever manifests anything. Almost always someone is a suggestion when I'm looking for it. It's so weird. It's so weird. Like, I guess we need to give a lot of unsolicited suggestions so people don't pick it up. But you can't look, if you look at like some of the quote unquote famous social media personalities, one thing I learned is that none of these producers or personalities or engineers are ever posting music. So you have to think to yourself, like, you think they got 40,000 or more followers because of music or because of the dumb shit they're talking about on Twitter? And if you could figure that out, then you'll know what the answer is. Like, it's right in front of us every day, literally.
Mm-hmm.
They're not posting beats and cookups like that as much as they're talking about some other shit. You know, you probably get way more followers talking about 2K, man, and you just happen to make beats. Like, you gotta find the human element of what we do. If you don't, you're gonna be lost in the sauce.
For real. Av, what you got up on the docket? What's up with A3C, bro?
All right, so
oh shit. Here we go again.
All right, so it was a pretty interesting story that happened. And on the talks of working with local artists or whatnot, I got one of the homies here, and you know, we went to A3C last year, and well, I met him at A3C last year, but I've known him for all my life. So, you know, long story short, just to paraphrase a little bit myself here, there was A3C runs a contest.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Here I go with the stuttering. So A3C runs a contest or whatnot, and they usually have like new rappers, new artists, and stuff like that to give them a platform at the festival part of it, because it's a musical conference where you can sit down, listen to panels, much like in the veins of the Revolt Summit. But, you know, they give people a shot. So they had a voting contest like they always do, kind of like XXL or whatever. You find out, you know, who's the next hottest thing or whatever. And he wins. So he wins fair and square. And so we all good. And we're just thinking like, yeah, hell yeah. Like, man, hell. You know, because Payne won. He met him last year, you know, because my homie, he does his work. And his name is Alamar, by the way. He's actually here with us. Say what up.
What up?
So, like, you know, we're sitting there thinking, like, I'm sitting there making plays in my head. I'm like, yo, like, I'm about to get Payne one here. We about to do one there. When he come in town, we're going to get the studio thing. It's still going to go down. But then he hits me on the phone, was like, yo, like, like, they changed their mind. They said I cheated. And I'm like, what? Like, how did he cheat? By posting and telling people? So I'm thinking to myself, like, how in the world are they going to backpedal on a new artist that is out here grinding from Atlanta? And then that's when this conspiracy of them placing an artist in his spot happens. And I think that to me just started making me think, like, bro, like, some of these conferences, they have their little fixated people. It's always about circles. I mean, we all know that. But how in the world would you do that and not give opportunities to people in the city that you grew in? You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense.
Right.
I just don't know what to think about that. I just think that with things like that happening with A3C, and they're obviously having people like, come on, man, like, this is supposed to be a music conference, but you have Gary V as one of the people in the panel. Like, okay, great. He's a motivational speaker. If you believe some of the mumble jumble that comes out of his mouth, then that's fine. I mean, he's making a living off of pointing out the obvious. You have Charlemagne the God, which doesn't do any music. All he does is talk. Like, he's supposed to be there. I'm thinking, like, what? Like, A3C is getting beside the point of what made them really good in the first place is that they actually talked to people, or they had panels that actually made sense to the artist, the music producer, the up and coming record executive. But now it seems like they're focusing on a totally different path. It's going to the extra Hollywood step now, and I'm not really feeling that.
Well, you know what that's about. Okay.
Uh-oh.
What that's
Talk
about. What that's about is the people in. Let's go back. All right. So before we were just music producers, right? We would make beats. We'd go around our respective cities trying to get placements, working with local artists, doing beat battles, trying to get on somebody's record. And that was it. That was lit. That was our life because we love making music. Then YouTube and social media became a part of it, and there became a new outlet for the music producer, right? You could become the music producer / influencer, the music producer community leader, and what's going on is because Gary V
That's my guy. That's my guy. You better watch your mouth, man.
Because Gary V has an affinity for hip hop. Some of our producer influencers are looking at Gary V like, whoa, wait a minute. There's a lane there. We already have these conferences set up all over the country, and we're doing this wrong. Because you have people like Gary V, you have people like Tony Robbins, like the self-help and the motivational speaker space. It's a huge money maker. It's better than chasing any placements. There's like the David Goggins shit and the Tony Robbins shit. You're talking about people paying like $3,500 to go sit in on 2 days of these conferences,
and to make them use their common sense.
Hip hop. Yeah, exactly. Like, work hard. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's just like yo, I'm gonna pay, it's gonna change my life forever, bro. Like, I'm gonna go listen to someone tell me to work hard and use my human potential and eat healthy and get lots of rest. Like, bro.
Jewels, keep dropping them jewels.
I'm just telling the truth.
So what I'm saying is, hip hop and the music industry, because we're always last to these trends, you're starting to see like this is gonna be huge. Right, this is the space that someone like Illmind is going into. Like you start off and
that's what he's doing.
Yeah,
that's what he calls motivation. Shit, no.
Yeah, no. You start off. You get your social proof by having your hits. You have your you have your Grammy and everything. You have your social proof that people could look at and say, okay, you know what you're talking about. Then what you do is you withhold any functional information and you mystify it, right? You grow a Fu Manchu, and then you say like, yo, we're like there is a spiritual element to this, and once you get closer to me, through a membership or through a ticket to see me speak personally, then you'll be able to get clued in on this a little bit more. That's one example of it. The next example of it is what you're talking about at A3C. You know what I mean? And in order for them to bring in more money, they have to make more and more Hollywood spaces. And what A3C is trying to do is they're trying to get their ticket up to those Tony Robbins numbers. They want to charge.
Oh man, they're charging $1,000. I know that for a VIP. Like, they got rid of it's not even called executive anymore. It's called straight up VIP. And it still doesn't offer much of anything. Like, if you pay VIP for these conferences, all you're doing is just getting a special place where you can sit down. And you might get some what you call them, little kid snack packs. That's what they had when I went VIP. Like, you get the kid snack pack, you get somewhere to sit down because you don't have to sit down outside or sit down in somebody's whack ass panel. I'm sorry, because sometimes they do have some really whack ass panels there.
Yo, but to the point about the panel and who they're having coming, what they're doing is they're inviting people like Charlemagne and Gary V and these more famous
People who sell books.
Yeah,
Right.
they're leveraging into authors, because when you go to a conference that's full of authors, that ticket is $3,500. What A3C is trying to do is they're trying to provide enough value to justify charging you that $3,500 eventually. Because you got to think about it. If they run the numbers and say they look at the new Roland Phantom that came out, and they're like, and they're like, yo. That thing costs $3,500 and music producers are willing to buy it. How can we get them to spend that $3,500 with us? You know what I mean? What's it? Am I tripping, MG? Am I picking up on this right, or what do you think, bro?
I mean, you said it. Gary V has created a template by introducing the mainstream to hip hop entrepreneurs, because he's one of the first ones to really sit there and break bread with Nipsey Hussle towards his demographic.
Yeah.
And then eventually after that, we started to see Illmind on the show in a car seat. That was a little bit too uncomfortable for him to talk the way he wanted to talk. And we saw the dude from Cymatics on there. And the guy from Cymatics told us, with EDM, we hit 6 figures, but we're trying to, get into 7 figures. And Gary V told him hip hop. Hence why they have all these hip hop sample packs. And then Illmind, the same advice he gave Illmind. Illmind's like, yo, let me do a subscription site. Let me go ahead and drum up this woo, so that I can mobilize this thought experiment to see if it could take me to my next level. Because it's obviously not in records and record placements. If me and you on this level know that, then we have to believe that a person who's a little bit closer to that campfire also knows that. And I think that's why I get offended, is because you're telling a bold-faced lie with a straight face. And I just don't understand that. You can be magical, but don't lie to be magical, because then it's not magic no more. Now you're doing some dirty shit. You're cutting off chickens' heads and putting them in your closet. You're not Azalea Banks, my dude. Like, just tell the truth. Like, yo, truth is, I'm glad you guys fuck with me. You took me out of my depression. I'm doing really well now. Support to all of you guys. But stop selling motherfucking dreams. Ain't no dream out here. This is real life. But as you're saying with the conferences, you're going to have in hip hop space, because we don't check these type of attitudes and personalities at the door, you're going to have everybody on a fucking dummy mission. And as CMP is saying, the value is going to go up. And then the people who are coming up now, who are looking at these people and know they're fraud, they're like, how am I going to out fraud and out cap the cappers? And it's just going to keep feeding itself and get nastier and nastier and nastier and nastier. So when I'm trying to put the brakes on, it's not necessarily what people are doing now, because everything's kind of even ground. But I know that breeds a much worse beast, and it's being bred because it's watching us every fucking week. And I'm telling you, you guys are not going to like that reality. So someone needs to tell the fucking truth and shame the devil, bro.
What's the truth?
Well, it depends on where we at. If you do anything on social media or you do anything to make money, you have to have a certain amount of hustle about you. And some people can do it more honestly than others. Like, I've been blessed long enough just to fucking review what I want to review, do what I want to do, and make packs when I feel like wanting to make packs. Other people might need to run the numbers on the board. They might just need to make packs for the sake of packs. They run out of ideas, and then they start stealing from us. You always see it, and you always know why. The reason why you know why is because of the reason why you don't do it, or if you've tried to do it. So a lot of us, when we speak from this, we're speaking from a place of being in that actual field. It's not a reach. It's not, it's not hatred. It's like, I wish you figured out where you could fucking relax. So I can always tell when someone's not telling or doing it for the right reasons. Like, in our field, like, I always tell is like, bro, the reason why you're giving away all these MIDI packs is because you chopped up all your beats, you exported all the stems from FL, and you're not doing music no more. You're trying to pay for college. Like, just keep it a buck.
Right.
Don't tell me this is going to help me get my next placement, because if it was, you wouldn't be selling them from your beats that never got placements. Like, just really little nuanced things like that. Like, people, you're like, yo, I gotta call it quits. I just became a father or something, right? Like, I can't be fucking around on Twitter all day with you guys no more. Keep it a fucking bean. Like, yo, I made a whole bunch of money off of my first 3 sample packs, and I went ahead and bought a Maserati and a Tesla. I thought I was going to be able to keep that up for 2 more years. So I need to get you guys to join my website, because if not, this is going to get repoed, and it's going to look like I'm not working with such and such no more. Like, and then like, just because I know insider people who'll be like, yo, no, this person's never been to fucking studio with us. This person's never been to fucking Paris with us. Why do they say that? So it's disgusting. Like, when you know the truth, it's disgusting. And it misleads so much people because it looks good on paper. And then you have people who genuinely are still ignorant, which is fine. Ignorance is fine. Just do better. And then they start repeating their narratives, and then it creates this own ecosystem that we got to talk about and break and bust down. And I'm low key sick of doing it because it's fucking common sense for me, and it should be common sense for everyone else by now. But now you want to pay for it at a live event? Can you imagine how sicko mode that is? You're gonna go to this A3C shit, and you want to hear someone have a MG the Future discussion that was on YouTube from a year ago, and you just paid $100.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
What are we talking about?
They're gonna call it
talk,
psychology of producing.
When you think about it though, and not to even cut you off, my brother, because you are on fire, man. Where is my? He's on fire.
He's on fire.
Like this man. I had to use it one day, but when you really think about this, man, like, again, that's my whole entire beef with not only A3C, but definitely Gary Vee and these other quote unquote motivational speakers. It's like they're only saying things that's common sense, one, and then for two, all they're telling you to do is copy whoever is successful. Matter of fact, I remember Gary Vee, the one time that I actually listened to this guy, and I'm just thinking to myself, he's only just telling people to copy other successful people, and that's pretty much the American way in the goddamn first place. Because, like, a lot of these dudes are not, like, the vast majority of the people that I have beef with on this platform, they literally don't see what they are doing wrong. Okay, granted, I bet you won't even have a problem if people were to copy your content if they gave you the credit, right?
Come on now.
And if they gave you the credit, like, it will help with growing the community. But nah. You see the same little circles of these fuck boys that only fuck with each other, and they all circle jerk each other, and then yet they will come to your channel. They'll come to CMP's channel. They'll come to my channel. They'll go to Busy Work Beast's channel. They'll go to anybody else's channel that they see, small, big or small, short, tall, and they will copy the content, and they just don't want to get props.
Yes.
And that's what's disgusting to me, man. It's like, you have to give credit when credit is due. Even Gary Vee, at the point to where he's doing stuff, it's like, damn, dog, I've heard this before. Like, you're really not giving me jewels. But there are the mass amount of people that are not quality thinkers is just huge. So I guess we need to just hop into this motivational.
Well, you know, it's funny, it's joking, but low key, bro, that's been my role since I joined YouTube. Like, that's why it's funny and disgusting to me. So, like, I did the whole discussion about black magic, and then all of a sudden people are talking about Qi Jong, yoga, Kundalini, and fucking Chi. I'm like, come on, like, dude, what are we talking about? You have even no idea what those fucking words mean, first of all, and I explained it. So you listened to what I said, didn't understand what I said, and then you wanted to sample it and re-say it your own way. Like, that's that corny shit that we be talking about, bro. And that's gonna fuck up people even more. Because, bro, if you take the language of magic and you don't understand it, and then you give it to a bunch of ignorant people that you made ignorant because they follow you with all your other ignorant shit, and then you put them onto some shit like that where they're gonna fuck around and bring a bunch of spirits in their room and they can't go to bed at night,
right?
You're a fucking idiot, bro. Like, what?
Man,
bro, why are you doing that? Stop fucking around with this shit. And that's because, as I told CMP many times, is that these people have been copying us since day one. They've been, quote unquote, inspired and interpolating us. And the moment you turn that pressure down and they don't know what to do, they just start grabbing for anything. And then people start confessing about metadata and cells. And people start getting really fucking weird all of a sudden because they ain't got no place to fucking steal because we're sitting fucking quiet. So I want to talk about aliens and fucking spaceships, and no one want to steal that. But I turn that shit into black magic, and all of a sudden there's a diatribe, and people want to be fucking book writers and speakers. Yeah, go fuck yourself, bro. Like, nah, man. Like, don't make those struggle 80 drum packs and run that shit through Decimort or something. And go ahead and put your money up and buy a Zulu and stop telling people you got all these fucking keyboards and using fucking Arturia version 4, you fucking cap ass hoe. What are you talking about, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do I have to say that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's disgusting to me. That's all I'm saying.
So, mind if I interject? I just want to give everybody just like a whole. I want to talk about the people that they have here at A3C. You know what I'm saying? Because I know there's gonna be a lot of producers that attend. I know there's gonna be a lot of artists that attend and stuff like that. So let's see what the value is this year. So again, we got Gary V smiling and this Bozama St. John chick. And then we have T.I. T.I. is gonna be at this one. Lenny S. We already know who Lenny S. is. Kevin Lyles, Charmaine, Dapper Dan. He's gonna be
Lenny
talking about.
S. got to be the most catfished person ever on Twitter, bro. Like, there's so many like, yo, I'm gonna get your music to Lenny S. scams on Twitter. Go on though, bro.
We got Drummer Boy, Paul Judge. He's supposed to be a tech entrepreneur and investor. Fidea Kader, if I said her name wrong, whatever. Kel Henderson, which is a president of since the 80s. Just Blaze. They just added him, Baron Davis.
Baron Davis?
Yes, he's supposed to be an entrepreneur, investor, former NBA All-Star. You know the deal. I mean, whatever.
Baron Davis?
Baron Davis, yes, the basketball player that played at UCLA and
no, I just
yeah,
the inventor. Okay.
Oh
god.
Rob Markman, whatever, man. I don't even know who that is. Amber Grimes, and that's the panel part. Of course, the other part is the festival, and it's when I look at stuff like that and how they're fixing the festival, it just I don't know, man. My whole entire
sometimes they got Candace Owens out there doing a seminar on public speaking.
Hell,
so wait a minute.
If Candace Owens was at the A3C music conference, I actually would have a little faith in people. I hate to say it because she
we look at the rappers, all you single fathers, go home to your kids now.
Right.
So are you saying that that this is another festival that you don't see the value in for producers?
Absolutely not. But at least A3C has like a producer section where they have like native
this
instruments.
Shit is a band, bro. 3 days to get there is a band.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. Okay, so let's go here. If you were getting ready to throw the money down on A3C and the reason why you were doing is because you wanted to advance your production career, what do you think a better something better to spend your money on, that $1,000 that you saved up?
I ain't snitching or anything, but Metro Boomin definitely booked a lot of studio time around these festivals and conferences. I'm just saying.
That's been my thing. That's been my thing forever, bro. Like I really think that if you got the stuff, you know what I mean, and you want to take your shot at going pro with this shit, bro, find the best studio in your city or go to a city that has studios where people are working and go rent that B room for 2 days and fucking
studio
cook
time
up
is a far less money.
You know what I mean? It'll be far less money. Go cook up with the door open, with the speakers turned loud, and something cool will happen. I promise you that'll happen.
Just get you a Kindle Fire subscription and stop playing with your life.
Word.
Use your common sense.
Because I don't understand to meet people that are not part of your community. Like the Baron Davis thing, that was funny. Like I'm gonna pay $1,000 down on this mom. I'm gonna help my beat career. Who's gonna be there?
I'm gonna ask Charlamagne how I should get my music to artists.
Yo, that was crazy, right?
Bruh.
Gary V. Hey, Gary V. How can I work with Young Thug?
Bruh.
Just spam his email
No,
every day. Wake
MG,
up.
what were you saying though? What were you saying?
No, I was just saying, like he's right. Like you when you're explaining this to someone, like what are you going there for? Like, all right, it's $1,000. What do you get back in return in value? You know, Gary Vee is going to go up there, do his 5-minute intro, and answer questions and make you feel stupid for the questions that you have. And if you've watched his YouTube, you already know the answers to the question. So we know that's going to be. Barry Davis is going to be talking about rebounds. And I don't know how that applies to tech, but God bless him. And then you're going to talk to the other producers who've been capping about the younger producers in a conference full of younger producers. So you'd be like, I don't know if there's going to be any value there. And then you're going to have some random people talking about, you should learn how to build apps, but you don't even know how to properly crack your software. So I don't know how you'll make an app for the iOS store. So what is the actual intrinsic value there? And who is it there for? It's almost like a boule meeting. I think it's for all the rich, well-to-do people to get the chance to see each other, eat some fried chicken, get some good catering, and laugh at all these people who are never going to make it. I know it sounds kind of sick and sinister, but I've met people like that. So I don't, it doesn't go past me that's what's going to happen.
Hey, while you playing MG, that particular area that they have A3C, boy, it got some of the best restaurants around. It's actually a nice scene, everything. It's way better than what the Revolt Summit was. I mean, so if you want to get some quality eating and then meet your favorite basketball player and your favorite come to A3C.
I'm saying though, if you want to try to chase down just for an autograph and he won't just keep walking, like what do you?
Oh no! Don't do that.
But that's like some of the story.
Don't do that.
Those who don't know. So.
Why do you see Just Blaze at the airport and act like he's supposed to talk to you, bro? Like I need people to get all the way out of their sensitivities, man.
Hey, it is what it is, man. But if you paid $1,000, you're gonna want to take those pictures and those autographs.
This is facts.
For real. So I mean, that's what they do. At least they do that.
Thank you. I hope so, because paying $1,000 for some Instagram content is sicko mode. But we'll be there one day, and we'll be explaining why people should come see us. So maybe I shouldn't get too far ahead of myself.
While we're playing around and joking and all that, even though we will be adding actual value to the community, quote unquote. I think that is the play. Like I'm sitting here, I'm doing the Gary V, and I'm observing like Drew and Steve Cymatics because they're in the city. Like they're not too far away from me, their offices and whatnot. And I sit there and see them doing their little conferences, quote unquote, their in-house speaking and stuff like that. I already see, you already see Steve with Cymatics. He's already kind of decked out like that. I actually talked to him at the Revolt Summit or whatnot, and it's the writing's on the wall. It's just like, hey man, why don't we do it? Except let's add some value to it.
It's happening.
Going to do it, yeah.
That shit is happening. Like we're all three out here talking about like we don't know that we're finna do that shit, bro. Like we're definitely gonna do it. It's just we're actually gonna talk to you about shit you want to know about.
Right.
I'm not gonna be selling my K-Swifters to you. I'll be like, let's get to the shits and giggles. What I'm saying is the reason why that template is happening, and the reason why the Joe Budden podcast can go tour and things like that, is that people are getting out the house because all the cap online is fake and the numbers are fake, the streams are fake. So at least if you can put this together in real life and have a real show out, at least have some type of tangibles to understand that the energy in that place is real. So although A3C has a reputation of being a cool spot for especially rappers to go out and mingle and figure out collabs and meet new producers and stuff, it never functioned as doing anything for you. It only does what you do or what you bring. What you bring to that, what kind of energy you bring to that festival is the same type of energy that's going to return. And that's why we're kind of jonesing on the fact that someone dares you to pay $1,000 to listen to some shit that you already know. But at the same time, I see value in being around the city that night and being around those people that night, because you're going to find other dreamers who are just as hungry as you. And that's what you should really be looking for.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to our community and what we do and the experience that I've had with speaking to people, as long as you got some banging chicken. So I think the value of me meeting so many people in my tribe and shaking hands with people and watching people smile and interact for the first time, I know how important that energy is. And it's not something that you get on a chat room. So I'm definitely not against public speaking. I just think they need to get some public speakers who don't have any education. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no facts. There's definitely this goes back to what we were talking about last week with the whole movement for people to want to get out of the house and actually come in contact with music in a new way. This is definitely an avenue for them to be able to do that 100%.
Yeah, it's just not about music anymore. The way I feel,
Yes.
like it's just more about personality, bro. Like, and that's fine because you don't have the 106 in Parks. You don't have
Is
the.
it?
Huh?
Is it fine? Is it fine?
No.
Is it fine?
No.
Okay, say that.
No. As a matter of fact, holla at him.
It's spicy Sunday, goddammit.
Like, it's so much about the conversation. Like, the music just really, really doesn't matter anymore. I mean, and not to kind of. This is actually a perfect segue into your man snitching on everybody. But you can see from Takashi 6ix9ine just acting an ass. Like his influence of him trolling actually meant more to people than his music actually did. Because if people actually heard his music on per se, like I was talking about MTV Jams and like 106, and if it did make it on 106 in Park as a new song, quote unquote, like people were like, "What is this shit?"
Yes.
Like, what is this shit? Like, nah.
I agree.
And
we lost the gatekeepers that mattered. Yeah.
right. And to the credit of like time and us being able to kind of transcend or transition to what we have now as a platforms and stuff like that. If it really was like the old game, I still think that somebody like a Puff Daddy or a Jay-Z, all them, I think they still would be rapping, to be quite honest. I think you wouldn't see as much new blood if the times were like the 90s, early 2000s, 80s, and beyond, because it's easier to control like who goes through the door, and it's easy. Like mind control is so difficult for the elite to do now because people are so free in thought now, and
Yes.
and people are actually good at the same little boule tricks of these cats, man. Like they don't even need those type of people, no, those type of celebrities anymore. They lost their effectiveness, and it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing at the same time.
Yeah, it's a different level of programming. You used to have radio programming and television programming, and now you have influencer propaganda.
Right.
That's what I've been talking about too, which is interesting to hear you say it that way. The program itself is broken, and what has happened is that people who are copying the programmers have found themselves quite successful, and hence why there's such a high risk and reward for manipulation of numbers. Is that you're not really doing it for financial profit for the idea or song. You're doing it for the control of people's minds to get them to look in a different direction. For instance, with Rihanna does all her antics and things, whether it's be her body, her looks, or her whatever it is that's about her.
Leading with
Points you in the
sexuality.
direction, leading with sexuality, and then she points you over there to the Fenty brand, right? And now with the Fenty brand, she's going to make way more money in a season of doing that than she ever did the past 10 years making music.
Yes, sir.
So if you understand the long game early enough, you'll understand why people do some decisions they make. Like Drake, like he told us when he first came out, he was still thinking about acting. So like when Drake transitions over back into film or whatever it is anyone ever going to be surprised? He played the long game. The same thing with like we see it all the time. We see people step in and step out. Just like Dame Lillard. He drops a mixtape or an album, but he's a hooper. Like it's a long game. Like, and a lot of us have used music as a long game when it's really just advertisement for the long game. And that's
Right.
where people get kind of confused. And the producer being at the bottom of this totem pole, we're kind of like supposed to be the gatekeepers. Like our sound is supposed to help the next person get into the limelight.
Oh Lord.
Now it's getting flipped on us.
Tell them why it's not though. Tell them why it's not, because it's an obvious reason why music producers don't have the exact same control. It's because you can't identify a producer because everybody is using the same goddamn drum palettes.
Yo, MG, keep going, bro.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think because we have became the reggaeton of the South, you don't have to go to you don't have to go to the Cord Triton leads anymore, right? So everyone got the Cord Triton refill bank now off of eBay, so you don't have to go to them no more. You don't have to get that Weezy and Yandel hook, and it's the same thing with our music and our genre. But more importantly, I don't even think it's that. I think it's once we gave the blueprint to outsiders and outsiders perfected the blueprint, it lost its magic. Because I think people forget that, like hip hop and music stuff, it's outside of the norm. And what that means is it's outside of the mainstream collective or cache of thought. So when you normalize that and the people in the mainstream have made that approachable or likable, it's not cool no more. It loses its cool real fast. And I think we haven't really thought about new innovative ways to be cool. And the substitute for right now has been Cap. Cap has been the substitute for cool. Like, people ain't really cool no more. Like, I don't look at Drake and be like, yo, one day I want to dress like Drake. It's just not cool anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He doesn't dress cool is what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's not a cool person.
Right.
I'm saying, like, there's no definitive coolness about any of them. Even some of the guys who are kind of outrageous with their hair and stuff. We get it. You're trying to do whatever you can do to get attention. But when you think about that on the low, like, is that cool? Like, you know, is sagging my pants and wearing pink rainbow braids really the wave right now? Like, would Shorty really go for that? And the answer is always no. So it's like, once you take away the mystique of what we've done historically and you've made it just palatable to anybody and approachable to anybody and softened it up with all these different agendas, we have lost the plot. And like you said, it's natural for us to go to YouTube next because we're not going to be producing for these type of people. There's an energy mismatch. And then once you get on YouTube and this is not cool no more, we're going to have to go on this public speaking. So it's not even like a situation like it's the play. It's a natural progression of us getting booted out. And because we're smart enough, we're not getting booted out, we're getting booted up. But for everybody else who's kind of stuck in the
computer bars.
I know, right?
Y'all see what he did there.
Sometimes a setback is just a setup to get up, baby. So anyway, so a lot of us.
Damn, son.
Yo. We've been set back, man, and we've been set back, and no one's talking about it. They're just selling tickets off the setback, and I think that's why we see so much Just Blaze and Drummer Boy and everyone. They're like, well, hell, when you're in Rome, do what Romans do, bro. I'm like, I ain't mad at them. They the OGs, but I listen to their music, and I don't feel the vibes no more. So how much of it is them really capping and them really trying to figure it out? And once you realize that even your OGs are trying to figure it out, you're like, oh, this baby got away. Like, this train is on its own track. Nobody knows how to bring this shit back in. It's because what Av said. The programming has been divided and fractured, and social media played a big part in doing that.
And the crazy thing about it is, like, it's not like, okay, I could be that person that just not able, like, hey, man, I walked up to some of these cats and been like, yo, man, like, look, I got this tech business. I got all these tech connections, got developers. You know, we could do some things, you know, that where you can actually use your influence instead of, and you actually can get something from it and learn something from it. And instead of just taking like X amount of money, you know, I mean, I'm just repeating what I said like last week, but it's like, they're not seeing that picture of it. It's like, dude, like, so you're just going to allow Apple to hand you 20 mil instead of having your own Apple based company or having a share in a company? Like, you know what? Fuck it. Hey, I'll take it. You know, you just can't even, it's just like when I was listening to Timbaland and Swiss say, hey, you know, sometimes when you do your music or whatever, when it was talking about face value stuff that everybody again should know, but it's like
surface level
stuff. And he's like, man, sometimes people don't get your sound, and you know, you just don't give up on it, or just think that you're just gonna copy other people and that's gonna be a win. You know, you got to reinvent yourself always, and seems like a lot of these guys repeat the same shit, but it's common sense. But like, I think of that from that surface level. I was just like, dude, like, you know that you said that, but how much of that are you living by? Because
you're not living by it. Come on, bro, go talk about it.
And that's all I had to say.
Go ahead and say this was Speech is using the same kick and snare pattern for the past 20 years. Come on, like we're not lying.
Say it.
At least it was his.
for 20 years, bro. Like, come on, like we can say that.
Right.
And we're not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Boom,
Boom, cacking with 50% ties on 68 swing for 20 years. So how's he going to sit here and talk about reinventing somebody's self? Come on, bro. He rented himself by going to business school. That's what he meant by that. He ain't talking about the music.
Yeah.
Come on. Bro reinvented himself by getting into high fashion. Come on, bro. And all these are gateways that require money to reinvent yourself. So they didn't do none of that shit for free. So how you going to tell a producer they need to reinvent himself? Basically, you're telling them to get a fucking job at McDonald's and keep it a buck and end the show early.
You know what? Yeah, but what you're like, what you're skating up against is that a lot of the advice that's given out to these people, that's given in these conferences and everything, and that we repost on Instagram and on our Twitter feeds and everything, we're just like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. But I think the disconnect is we're getting it from people who have a level of resource and freedom and mobility that you just don't have at this level. You know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily apply to us. Like you can have somebody tell you like, listen, all you got to do is clear your mind, meditate, be free, and just come up with the most creative idea possible. That works great. When you're in a position to be able to do that, and it'll be like, no, but don't think you have to be in a position. Just start doing it. But then if you ask that same person, well, when you were in my shoes, what were you doing? And then they'll be like, oh, well, I mean, I was eating General Tso's chicken every day. I was overweight. I was selling beats to underground rappers. And it's like, yeah, dude, like, stop trying to rewrite your story. Don't try to tell me to do the things that you wish that you could have done, had you known what you know now, because nobody ever gets on like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I making sense? Am I getting lost?
You're definitely on the right path there.
Because that's how they could, like, all that information, that's how it comes at you, right? Like, I wish you guys would do the things that I know now that I wish I would have done. That's how it all comes off. But the thing that they forget is that that's not how the universe lines up. Like, you can't move like that. There's steps.
I mean, so how long have we had Twitter, bro? Like 2008, 2009?
Yeah, since then.
So it's been over 10 years. It's been over a decade, a longer run than most of these people giving us advice. So if they have never set themselves in this space to actually position themselves as producers or selling of music, they really can't give us advice. And I think that's the sad part is, like, they have all that experience pre-Twitter and all this new clout post-Twitter, and never leverage it to sell records. So what can they tell people who want to sell records? Nothing.
Use your common sense.
When all the time they're telling us there's no money in selling records. Boom. There's no real cap in selling records. Boom. We're doing everything in our life and on our Instagram besides selling records. Boom. But we'll go ahead and do this 20-year nostalgic beat battle because we have the 30-year-olds and plus who still fuck with us, which we should, and I do. But in terms of their advice being palatable to what we're going through in this society, they're all signed out of the matrix, bro. They're not playing this game with us. And that's why it's sickening that they're charging for advice that doesn't work. It's not palatable. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
That's the shit that pisses me off.
Hey, and speaking of which, did y'all see it? Did you see what their panel? Because it's out on our report right now.
Check this out real quick. You got people who are going in droves that are like, yo, I want to be a music producer. Tell me how to be a music producer. And they're going to talk to these people who they believe are music producers. But who they're actually listening to is people who have graduated from the placement game, because you're just going there to learn how to get your placements, right? That's what everybody thinks is going to change your life. Like, yo, I just want to
big star.
But the people that you're going to talk to are selling drum kits, are selling loops, are selling subscription packages, and are selling speaking dates. That's what they're really to do. That's what they're really doing. And you're wasting your time asking them how to get placements. You see what I'm saying? Like producer community, are you paying attention to me? Or you still fucking believe in Santa Claus? I don't know. like wake up, bro, for real.
You
guys want to make fun of Takashi now?
Takashi 6ix9ine.
Since we done stomped everybody's dreams.
Man, oh man, oh man. I mean, I guess I go ahead and kick that off here because I know as soon as I refresh this page, we're all gonna get a good laugh out of this joint right here. So we might as well just talk about it because everybody who's not talking about it, the memes have been nice and juicy. Like hell, everybody's been eating off this shit as of lately. So first off, I just want to see this poll and what it do on this. So all right, I asked people. Of course, I had to know how everybody felt. Like what is going on? Like, will you still listen to Takashi 69's music? 69, 6ix9ine's music, and after the court case, if he's free, allegedly or whatever. I said and why. So we got 20 comments, but 122 votes. So it's 30% yes, 70% no. That's better than it was earlier.
No, Martha Stewart said no.
So the first comment was definitely was by Dominique Gaines. He said never did, never will.
Oh,
Space
man.
Cadet said his shit been trashed before the drama. We even listened to him in 2019. I don't see why not. Everybody's a snitch these days.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
Didn't listen to him before, definitely. Oh, wait a minute. Damn, somebody else just wrote the same thing again. So JG Westworth and Tony Mac, they might be the same account, I don't know. But never listened to his music more than once per song before the arrest. I already hated him, the whole Chicago thing. I felt like one person would realize that he was a mark for running around in Chicago in makeup. To cover his tats saying that Keith can't find him. Oh my God. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to ask you guys how y'all feel about the case because everybody should know that all he's been doing, he's been taking a stance for those who live under a rock. We have a rapper out here that was a gangster rapper, a part of probably one of the biggest gangs in music right now because Blood's been running it for quite a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, quite obvious during the Death Row era that the Bloods was up there in the totem pole for running the rap shit. And it made its way around. So, you know, for those who don't know, he was a part of this Treyway Bloods or whatnot. And Treyway Bloods is pretty thick in the north to southeast. So with that, he, you know, got locked up, supposed to be a part of the gang, got locked up. But people are making excuses for him saying that, man, they fucked his girl. That was his baby mom. Okay.
Man. I got smoke for it. Just
you got smoke for it. So
I got smoke for it. I gotta
go ahead.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off. So here's the thing. This is another one of those like telltale. Call it a chat break, call it a mark, call it some type of defining moment where you get to see, you know, that you're getting old. And I think that, and I don't mean like, oh, you're getting old, like in a negative way, you're finna die or anything, but it just, you know, there's certain things when, you know, that when you see how people react to them, that you're like, whoa, there's really a different younger generation of people who have went through a completely different set of circumstances through their lives, and it has changed their cultural perspective to where me and them react completely different sides of the spectrum when we see something, right? So you know Ab is in his 30s, MG and myself, we're all in our 30s, right? Grew up being outside in the 90s, and there was not even from an element of crime, But what our fathers and uncles always taught us is that you don't fucking tell. You know what I'm saying? If me and my little brothers were getting into a fight or something and somebody got hurt and we went to go tell my dad, he would hit all three of us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what happened. It wasn't like, oh, and that's because he grew up, and that's because he went to the Marines when he was 17. And if you told on somebody in the Marines, everybody got punished. Okay, if you were on a fucking football team and you pissed into freshman's pads and he went and told on everybody fucking ran.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you were on the basketball team and somebody played a joke, y'all were all doing suicides. This was something that it had nothing to do with crime and being a criminal. It had to do with being a boy.
Yeah.
All right.
Had to do with code of honor, I guess.
Yeah, not even a code of honor. This was part of being a male, dude.
Right.
Any type of normal male activity that we had, you didn't tell on people. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it was. So what's interesting is because we grew up like that, we see this unfold in social media and we're like, wow, that's some hoe shit. You know what I mean? That that this dude is playing this game like this. And the question then becomes from the younger generation is what Av was just alluding to. Well, if all of this stuff happened to you, if they violated your girl, if they violated you and you could get retribution by putting them in jail, and on top of that you could free yourself from jail, what are you, some kind of idiot for posturing like you wouldn't do that? And the answer, young people, is that while that may be true, you're never going to get anybody that's as old as me or as close to as old as me to fucking say that publicly, bro, because for all of the reasons that I just mentioned, the way that we grew up is that if you're a boy, you don't tell. If you tell, you're not a boy. Okay. Yeah. and that shit was important to us. Point blank, period. Right.
Or the main thing, trust. Shit.
Yeah. That's another level, but I'm just speaking on a very surface level, like type of generational psychology, like because a lot of people are going at it back and forth like, oh, well, you're not a gangster, why do you care what gangsters do? And it's like, nah, you guys don't understand that was in our American culture. Like, we didn't fucking throw people under the bus. I mean even like even in my professional career, when when I'm a foreman and I have like 9 electricians working underneath me, and somebody fucks up and wires something wrong, and they blow something up, and it's going to cost money, and it might cost this man a job. I'm a stand-up dude. I'm going to say, when it comes time to talk to the boss, I'm going to be like, listen, that's on me. You know what I mean? Like, well, whose hands put it on it? And I've done this in the past. No. His hands might have been on it, but I was the one who showed him how to do it. Is my responsibility. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's and I think that's the most I wouldn't say alarming because people are going to do what they want to do, but I think that's the most interesting thing to talk about. Is it speaks to a deeper sense of responsibility and values of what do people value nowadays, right? So when you see people saying that they would still listen to Takashi's music even after this, it goes to show their mettle and what type of person that they are. They don't value trust. They don't value responsibility. The only thing that they value is entertainment.
And cap is key.
Yeah, and cap. And that is what is a red flag of a fallen society. Yes. Right? That and that is why people like me and that is why people like MG care, right? Because we're not surface thinkers, we're deep thinkers. We'll look at this. That's why the fuck you guys watch us. You know what I mean? Because you guys could all read these articles and come to your own conclusion, but you like what we say because we dig like 7 levels too deep. You know what I mean? Mm. That's and what it comes up to me is like, wow, bro, like we really have this new generation of people who in 15 years they're gonna fucking be in power. Like they're gonna be in control of my life. They're gonna be making real decisions. And it's like all you motherfuckers care about is being entertained. That's it. That's all you care about. MG, how do you experience it, bro?
Whew.
Oh boy.
It's definitely a paradigm shift. It's definitely eye-opening to understand that the entertainment business does entertain, but to its own detriment nowadays. Um, the issue with Takashi 69 and the Blood set that he's part of, um, how do I say it? I don't know enough about these brothers that surround him. Um, I didn't get a chance to look them in the eyes or hear them speak. So I don't know if they were really official to begin with, or if this was its own type of playground type of thing that happened. Especially here, a lot of people are part of what we call playground sets, where you don't actually have an OG or someone who commissioned that particular group and big homie to take over. So it's kind of like, we're all friends. We're going to do this thing. I don't know how that works in New York, but I've seen it work here, and I've seen a lot of people get arrested and locked up on some RICO shit because they were flying around flags and they weren't really gang members. I've seen people switch flags too, because one time the Crips are out here and then they get locked up and then there's nothing left, so everyone became Bloods. And I know there's a lot of different ways that people see and approach and deal with that. So I'm not going to talk about it on the street level, but what it looks like to me is that if I seen this kid in real life and I seen him talking that rah-rah stuff, I would think him and his whole set were a bunch of those people who were playground Bloods. And I'm not saying that any, disrespect to them if they're not, but that's how I view it historically. From the Fruit Squad gang out there in Trenton when I was just a kid and I seen 50 brothers standing around the fire station, to the Bloods I met in Atlanta and all over the place. Like, I know, like, you could just tell there's a certain fiber about these people. And when I look at him, I don't see that fiber. So me not being a gang member and knowing that and knowing what to look out for, to see this kid just come in and walk in and do all the antics that he does, the only things that come to mind is that, they're trying to position or clout or cap off this kid from the jump, and hence this is the type of karma you get. You play fun games, you win fun prizes, or you play dumb games and you win dumb prizes. But that's on level one. On level two, it's also like this kid is safe. That's not common either, because if you know a lot of people who play with that rah-rah shit, very, very,
it just seems like it was planned from the very beginning. Like they planted him. Like people talk about industry plans, but it seems like the feds planted him perfectly for that situation.
Yes. So that's level two. He's safe. And level three is like, wait a minute. If he's a plant, an industry plant, and also a street plant to clean up the streets of New York and Harlem and Brownville and all these other places, then that means there's other plants in that set as well, because it's never a one-man operation.
Right.
So now I have to look at the whole squad funny. Like, wait a minute, who let him in here? And who insisted that we bring this square with us on these certain things so that he becomes a liability? Wait a minute, whose idea was it that we pretend to kidnap and extort him with 3 different camera angles and the most beautiful Zoom quality, audio quality ever? Like, who are these other people?
So
because I'm not. Because
so you're looking at it from a deeper surface level, like they're trying to make a movie out of it.
Yeah, bro. And then if it is for programming and government, Illuminati, whatever, I don't even care no more. If it is for that, it's really messy and tacky.
Reptilian overlords.
It's going to discourage people from being part of these groups, and then it's going to push the initiative for government and legislation to get the gangs out of New York, and then of course the gentrification will be complete. We already know that's in game, but right now in the middle of this part of the game, who let this kid in, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't just implant a half Mexican, half Puerto Rican kid into a black street gang and him know all the people that he knows, him throwing up gang signs with Jim Jones, him throwing up gang signs with Cardi B. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be a big homie to even wear certain colors. Like, I don't think people understand gang life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you certain restaurants you can't eat at until you get to a certain level. There's certain colors you can't wear, and even if you are banging on the other side, there's just certain levels of respect you have for people, and you only do that if you rank up. So my question is, who ranked this kid all the way up to be the fool that he fucking was in 2 years? Who the fuck did that? Who approved of that? Who sat down and talked to him and looked him in his eye and checked him all the way up to the top where he could wear what he want, eat where he want, say what he want, do what he want? That is not what happens in real life, bro. That is not what happened.
What happened? It's just like, again, with the whole quote unquote new death row type thing that they was pushing out, that agenda or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we want to recall Tupac or whatnot, Tupac was led into the family and whatnot, and then he big talked, of course, like on the same lines, and we saw how that worked out. But if you think about like Takashi 6ix9ine, and they're thinking, the Bloods are thinking at this point, hey man, this dude is good for business because his music was popping or whatever. And then the mouth comes in. And then you got to back your mans up to the fullest extent. And then I look at it as if, he wouldn't stop talking. Like, you know what I mean? And then the way I look at it as far as this generation was saying, like, well, I would snitch and do his play too. Like that, if somebody disrespected my baby mama, which, I mean, it takes two to tango regardless. And they've been done. Otherwise, that would have been his wife, not his baby mama. If we're going to talk about the whole I'm a family man thing. And then this is something I'm going to address about my audio marketplace, because he was saying, hey, man, I'm a grown man. If somebody messes or kills like somebody in my family, I'm going to tell. Dude, we're not talking about because snitching has been redefined in some stupid shit. If you are not partaking in that activity, that gang activity together, and somebody does something wrong to you, that's not snitching. Yes, cooperate with the police by all means. Try to better your community, or at least do right, or what's defined as justice on our soil. But if you are doing gang activity and you're living by a G code and you're doing gang shit, then and all of a sudden you get entrapped with some bullshit like 40 years. No, you're supposed to live and die by its blood in, blood out, regardless, dog. You're supposed to go ahead and take those damn 40 years to your chest. It's the same thing as if you are in the military or something like that and you get captured. You had a prisoner of war. A lot of you guys need to talk to a lot of these veterans that fought for the country and see how their code actually aligns to the exact same code that's on the streets.
Yes.
And if they was to tell a lot of privileged information that they have, because a lot of these soldiers have privileged information, guess what? Guess what happens? Dishonorable discharge. Probably even worse. I know people have disappeared that was in the military that have snitched. Like this, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That is snitching. That's the true definition of snitching. If you see a crime or something like that and you're not partaking in that crime in your community, dude, that's not snitching. But if you are the person that's partaking in that shit, doing whatever in the community, fucking it up, but yet you were the one to get caught, and then you want to bring down Johnny Schmo, that was the getaway guy that was driving you away from the scene of crime, then yes, you are a snitch by all means. And when you have somebody like a Takashi 6ix9ine that's talking big cash gang shit, and it's just discouraging to see 30% of the people just like, oh man, well, yeah, if he comes out with more gangster shit, I'm gonna listen to it. I mean, hell, he might even have a fantastic I'm Telling album, like, and people are gonna listen to it. And the reality of it is, people are going to listen to it because, again, the story. Go ahead, bro. I apologize.
You're fine. No, everything you said is 100%. I mean, like CMP said, his dad's from a military background. My grandparents are from a military background. And a lot of people who got displaced to metropolises are people who returned home from World War I, II, and other realms around that time. So that's why they all have that same type of grit. But when it comes to this, man, what I was saying is, like, this kid is a plant on the streets, and they thought they were going to extort him or whatever. I don't know. Like I said, it's not just the CIA or the feds didn't just put Takashi in and the Bloods just opened arms. There had to have been a rat within their organization to let him in and to G-check him up to the highest level, period. Point blank, period. And like I said, they're not going to talk about that, but I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So there's 2 or 3 operatives in this operation. What I really think is the precursor to all of this, though, is that shooting he was involved in that people aren't talking about. Like, they gave us this fake kidnapping video. I don't think that's it. I think he got caught up in the shooting. And the shooting,
DJ Academics had the damn footage like right after the court case. Yo, that's something that just didn't feel right to me. Something's wrong with that.
With two camera angles, right? So you need Final Cut Pro that shit?
CD quality, 192 kilohertz audio on YouTube.
Yeah, but the shooting he was in that no one got charged for that I know of was when he was in a meeting with his label head. Do you know who his label head is, Av?
Nah, tell me. Want to know?
Elliot Grange, Lucian Grange's son. So he's the head of Universal Music. So he's having a meeting with Elliot, the 20-year-old Grange who runs the music industry, and there's a drive-by shooting that almost killed both of them, Takashi and Elliot Grange. What the fuck do you think is going to happen? Like, this is all like, this is bigger than if that was a hit that was trying to take out a Grange son, bro. This went past go. This ain't got shit to do with no street or no petty playground blood shit. This is on a different scale.
Yeah.
Because now you're talking about mob ties for real. And I don't need to talk about that on YouTube. But if you look up the history of the record entertainment business and who owned the factories and who owned the CDs and who owned all the radio stations, and then one of their sons gets shot at hanging around with Mr. Skittlehead, you already know what type of fallout it's going to be. So I think someone is looking for a link with him, them, and them. And I'm not going to talk about it because it ain't none of my fucking business. But I know when they tell me to look that way, I need to look the other way. And I know it ain't got shit to do with what they're talking about. So there's a bigger play going on, bro. It ain't got shit to do with Takashi being thrown in the SUV. Fuck out of here, bro. They wouldn't spend this many resources on the kid with Skittles hair if that was the case. This is bullshit. Something else happened.
Yeah. CMP, what you doing over there?
Can't hear you, CMP.
Can't hear you, player.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, good.
We back. Okay. Yeah, we lost. I don't know what. My computer had a heart attack. You guys that are watching my stream, you might as well go over to Av shit, bro, or MG's, because I don't think I'm gonna get audio back from them. Oh, but yeah, I think I mean, dude, like all the so like I was saying before, the just the cultural and societal implications of how people are experiencing it are interesting. The other thing that's interesting to me is what MG's touching on is how it's just how good the audio is. They have two camera angles inside the SUV. You know what I mean? To me, what it really sounds like inside my X-Files mind state is like, this feels like this was an ongoing investigation into this gang, and that Takashi was kind of like, this is my instinct, that he was inserted to it on purpose for something like this to happen, so that they could really tie the case up, and make sure that they could they could cripple this organization. As I mean, isn't this a Brooklyn-based gang right now?
Yeah.
Okay, what's going on in Brooklyn?
Gentrification at the highest of levels.
Yeah, so there's that, So there's that.
but if I'm Lucian Grange and you guys did a drive-by on my son, we're not playing the same game anymore.
Oh yeah, no, that's fun stuff. That is also fun stuff. I just think it's like the type of like, I don't know anything about police work. All I know is The Wire. You know what I mean? But it's just interesting. Like, in order to get those cameras and those mics inside of that car, like you have to have permission to mic up that car to say, yo, there's a reasonable suspicion that this person is dangerous or a part of this investigation or something. And then on top of that, you have to
academics.
You actually have to be good enough to get the hardware inside the car. Like that's what people are realizing. Like, somebody somebody, an agent, had to install all of that, the necessary gear for that to happen. Like,
or,
it's
or
not.
OnStar got that Universal Audio endorsement.
Yeah, but OnStar could get the Universal Audio endorsement, but how do you get the goddamn how do you get the second angle in back? You know what I mean? Like, somebody went in that car and put that shit in, dude. It's just it's an interesting time. I think it's way too convenient that that this is a rampant problem in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is like the most aggressively, famously gentrified area. I think this is all a big push for the city of New York to clean up the streets and keep on bringing in the money, man.
Mm. I mean, damn.
Listen to me. You guys are missing the most important thing, and I didn't want to spell it out on YouTube, but y'all making me mad now.
Or maybe we're just nudging you.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
The kid is in whatever. He was selected, extorted, interjected, recession. I don't know what he did. But this particular kid who had no business being part of this group became part of this group.
Mm-hmm. Quick, too.
He brings down all the top people of this group, in fact. And he's pictured with the signs of this group with all other celebrities associated with this group while he's all being thrown and he's singing like a canary. Cool. We get it. But I had said what I had said. He was having lunch with the head of music's son. That means the head of music's son was funding this career.
Right. Hey man, this industry, quote unquote industry plan shit is deeper than most people think. People, that's why I'm so heated with this independent. We moving independent records and all this shit. Like, shut the fuck up. Like,
what are we saying is that the head of music's son funded the plant who was an agent to take down black music. Y'all want to do that words connect, or are we just going to overlook it?
Ah man, we already know what this what time it is.
Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it later.
Right.
Don't worry. It might be too early. We'll see what happens.
No.
PNP? You're kind of quiet over there.
Mic check, CMP. What's good?
Oh, of course, this camera will freeze.
It's froze.
Hell no.
Woo. That band was something real. I don't know, man. They been kind of getting me too, though. I had to cut my camera off to get bandwidth back. That's unusual. Like, hey man, I'm good. Like, I don't know. Here we go. We got crap.
Yeah, take it to the mobile device.
Right.
Yo, you can't stop me.
Right. Like MG
is really interested in the whole Elliot Grange, Lucian Grange connection, and I think it's interesting. I just can't seem to. I have a hard time putting it together. Like, so what does it mean? I mean, he was a big. He was primed to be a big artist. It would make sense that he would be attached to a big executive, and he wasn't
even a good musician, bro, and he wasn't making a lot of money.
But what does it mean? What does it mean? MG?
What I'm saying is, like, if he was a snitch from the jump, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you, the head of music and the son, and all the tools you have at your disposal to align with an artist, why would you align with a gangbanger, first of all? Two, why would you align with the kid who, like, with that energy, period? Like, you wouldn't, right? Like, you wouldn't even have him clean your pool, bro.
Yeah, because dude, like all that shit is capped. That is all capped. That shit's all fake. The fucking, I think, like, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say my conspiracy theory. I think that he was purposely placed there to do exactly what he's doing, and the fact that he was with Elliot and them was all favors. Like, I think that it was really important for the feds to get this gang out of here. Like, I think it's like a high level investigation. It's not just it's not just some agent who is out to make a name for himself. You know what I'm saying? On some city on the hill shit. Like this is
Agreed.
this is like, yo, the New York state government or the New York City government in cooperation with the federales and the goddamn music industry wanted to get into gangs, and they realized they were like, look, this is being done over and over again. These motherfuckers, they Harry-O us, they Kenneth Supreme Griffin us. Why not be proactive and use this to break one of them instead of allowing them to wash their money through the artist? Why don't we just make an artist and fucking use it as bait?
Damn.
That's what I think happened. Like when you look at it, and you think about what MG's saying, like, dude, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the government and law enforcement being proactive with the stupid shit, that our culture gets up and talks about. Like we get up and we say it. We say it like, yo, we're cooking crack, we're washing it through the record label. We're hustling, we're bosses.
Let's see if they really do this stuff. Let's see how dumb they are.
bro. This kid has pictures with all the Bloods who are entertainers, bro. They have no reason throwing up sets and taking pictures with him. He wasn't that hot. That was a meme. He wasn't like, it wasn't like, how crazy it is to run into all the Bloods that are entertainers and take pictures with all of them when you don't even have a platinum record yet. Like guys, like that's a sting, bro.
And only a select few,
bro.
and only a select few actually like it's like, man, get the fuck out of here, you fuck boy.
Come on, bro.
Happened to be on the West Coast.
Coming, and then they got Charlemagne inviting him on the show to talk about it. And then and what's crazy is he's a blackface character, which always insulted me, right? Like he was blackface rapping. He wasn't about that life for real. He don't care about what we do and what we've been through and why we do what we do. So everyone propped up this blackface character and be like, oh man, it all fell apart. I don't know how that happened. Like, bro, like how y'all not, man, whatever, bro.
Yeah, Takashi's you could definitely say he's modern day minstrel show. All day. All fucking day.
To like what the 100th power. I mean, when I saw the hair, I was like, nah man. I can't vibe with this. I can't get jiggy with this shit, man. Nah. Like
bro, because I'm telling you, everybody was in on it, bro. That's why the shit is a rainbow.
Ooh,
they're all, bro. It was. I'm telling you, this is the greatest operation being fucking carried forth by the hip hop police.
Yes.
Like how much shit do you need to know? Like the people watching this, you guys don't know about the hip hop police. You don't know what the fuck they were about. Like you think they just closed that shit down?
Yeah. You
think those guys stopped? They did not stop. They were like, yo, this is the new era. This is post 9/11. This is, we got technology now. We're gonna put these cameras in this car. We're gonna use social media to our advantage. For the past 7 years, all you see. Well, maybe not all you see, but if you're paying attention, you can definitely see a dramatic increase in proactive arrests due to what people post on social media, bro. And police organizations and the FBI, they're not stupid, bro. They're not stupid. They're
you could be
proactive.
Dumb and still pick up on a lot of the goofy shit. Like,
yeah, man.
Like I can't even credit people for being that intelligent. Like,
right.
Like it's like, yo, like you're live streaming yourself rolling a blunt, my dude. Like you're live streaming yourself holding pounds of dope. Like you're live streaming yourself with a whole gang of guns, dog, and you're not legit. Like you never been legit. You don't even look like a legit person. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I mean, dude. You had people who are native to hip hop culture, grew up in the culture, then became police officers, and they grew up listening to like Biggie Smalls bars talking about me and my dog Lance took Kim and C's advance, bought 2 bricks, flipped more. You know what I mean? Like. They're going to check into it and try to make a name for themselves, and this is their most grand operation, in my opinion. And I can't wait to see the Netflix documentary or the 30 for 30 on this shit because
at the end of the year. Not even like 5 or 6 years, because we still waiting for the BMF story. Because this is like, even though I say the BMF era is probably the biggest era, because it was so much time between that, and then it was like, damn, these dudes is doing so much, and then they put the billboard out. Like, that was, like, for real, like, that was what the feds actually started to tune into. It's like, who is this BMF that got a billboard in the middle of Atlanta? Yeah. What does BMF mean?
Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. What caught them up.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even for that organization, even then, you know, if you watch how that fell apart, like, this kid, bro, like, this is like, you look at him, like, I don't know if it's a spiritual science or something, but when I look at him, I know that's not him. And I'm like, these people are living in survival mode. They gotta know he ain't it. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense to me, bro.
No, yeah, you definitely know that ain't it if you're living in survival mode, especially when you're living in survival mode on a frequency that is that base. You know what I mean? Like, when you're talking about, doing crime and evading capture, that is like, that's predator and prey survival mode. That's ancient survival mode. That's sixth sense. You know, don't walk down that block. You know, and then get home. Yeah, dude, it's wild. It's wild, bro. What else we got on the docket though?
Shoot, man, I think that. I mean, the only other thing I was gonna talk about was probably the Behringer thing, and that really ain't. It's like the RD. Was it the RD08 or whatever? Their TR808 knockoff, quote unquote clone, which, you know,
They have an 808 knockoff.
Yeah, the one that sounds better than the Roland's actual 808 joint that they got.
Oh, that's the spice. That's the spice and smoke right there. Is it sounds better?
the technology spice, I guess. But yeah, you know, people have been going in on that or whatever. It's just talking about how unoriginal Behringer is when it comes to their devices that they've been making as of late. And I'm just like, dude, if they're not doing it, then the companies that make these classic devices need to do a better job of recreating their classic devices instead of, like, I don't know, putting together a quote unquote hardware VST. Like I said earlier.
Well, I mean that's really weird to come at Behringer for not being original when, you know, goddamn Roland's been trying to sell us the the 808 and the 909 over and over pretty much every 5 years. And I think the funny thing about it is that even though, like, you know, that's gotta come from us, right? Like, that's gotta come from hip hop and us using 808s and everything. But we don't even use the 808 like that, bro. You know what I mean? Like, we use Av's 808. We don't use Roland's 808, bro. I think ain't nobody trying to use that.
But that's what I'm saying about the magicians, bro. Like, if we talk about our craft, and will you? That's why they always criticize Black people for speaking in Av, right? Like, the way we talk and use words will be describing and meaning something that we understand. But if you're standing on the outside, you would misunderstand it. So what I mean is, if you're listening to us talk about trap music, like, yeah, the way the 808 is hitting and those crispy hi-hats, and we really boil down into it, well, if you're on the outside listening to us, you think we're talking about the TR-808's 808 and the TR-808's hi-hat. But when you look into the Zaytoven kit, you know those are not the same things.
Right.
We know that because we actually are part of that frequency of discussion. But I think the 808's popularity is a side effect of trap music. And
you can't make trap music unless you actually live in a trap anyways.
Yeah. It's not used to make trap.
Right.
At all. But because there's so much conversation about trap, and that's what it sounds like, like we're talking about 808s, we should go ahead and do another one of these so all the kids making EDM trap would buy one. And it's just interesting that you know, we're all used in that kind of way for marketing and metrics, but no, our music is really synthesized sounds that are not even necessarily from the 808 at all.
Right. Like, I mean, when I look at it anyways, it's like, well, to the credit of Behringer, at least they are making people pay for the shit, and I think that was one of the driving stories or whatnot. But I'm gonna let Bo Beats speak on it, I guess, when he gets time or whatever, if he accepts the challenge. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, like a lot of you influencers or whatever, man, y'all can't be mad at the fact that they don't want to send you something for free. And the fact of the matter is, y'all already get a whole bunch of stuff that we don't get. So be treated as the end users that quote unquote don't matter at this point, and it's out. It's not. They don't need to push. They don't need y'all to push their pre-orders right now. So be mad at that. And it's only $350.
That's wild.
Mm.
Plus, I don't want a review from somebody who didn't pay for the shit anyway, to be honest.
Speak on it.
You know what I mean? If I'm 100% like, I don't like if you got the shit for free. I don't want to watch you toe the line of
a positive
not wanting. Yeah, because dude, I've seen it in everybody's shit. Like, Av, you're pretty good about it, but I can watch a review of one of yours and be like, yo, I know he's got way more smoke for this thing. He's really trying to talk this random melody generator up. I know he is not going to use this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and I think with hardware, it's such an investment, you know. You want to be able to trust it. And I know it's just human nature, bro. So if I'm on a beta or if I'm one of these, you know, people that's using it before the public gets a hold of it, it's because I'm excited to work with the company, and you know, we're building a relationship, and I think that more great things are going to happen from it. So I'm not gonna, you know, I'm going to try to be positive, and that's why I don't do a lot of hardware reviews, bro, because I don't or reviews period, because I don't want my channel to become that.
I mean, it's hard for me to focus on something like I ain't gonna lie. Like, I sat there and I watched one video, and I ain't gonna lie. I know that there are things that people could actually test out and do certain ways with it that they're not gonna do because they don't have that type of flavor or knowledge thereof. And on top of that, they're like, their music isn't the way I would envision it. But other than that though, like, my thing with hardware in general or with these companies, dog, I'm not with buying stuff from people that don't display stuff a certain way with a certain type of person. If we're gonna live by this whole avatar based thing, then I don't see my avatar being represented by Roland. You feel me? And when my avatar, quote unquote, is represented by Roland, my avatar is represented by Roland, it's usually a celebrity that, you know what I'm saying, that could actually buy this, quote unquote. If we're living by the clout token thing, like, they can afford it because they got money. You feel me? So, you know, the average person, what I see, and this is the way I view things right now, is if they don't, you know, have certain people represent that particular user base, then they don't value the user base as anything as an investment in the first place. And it's like the exact opposite of that. Like, we actually do influence a large amount of people, regardless of not only music and entertainment, like everything. So like, that's what I want people to kind of understand. It's like, if somebody's not representing you, dog, you have a choice to support them or not. So that's the only reason why I'm only gonna fuck with the Behringer joint. Is like, hey, they made everybody pay for that sumbitch, and these quote unquote influencers, they're upset because they've been spoiled by these dudes, and they've been getting free shit from everybody for forever, and they can't do their happy-go-lucky. Well, this is a tutorial on how to turn this on. This is a tutorial on this stuff that's in the manual. And yes, it's a great product. I highly recommend it. This is my review, and the product is coming out like what? A month or 3 months later, 4 months later? Like, what the fuck? I don't know. MG, man, what's up, man?
Listen, I used to want to be represented a lot better because I felt like I did a lot of reviews and I felt like I sold a lot of things for other companies when I could have been, as you had indicated, just doing whatever I wanted to do. Pretty much what I'm doing now.
Right.
But then I started to see and open up my blinders a little bit that so many people were doing it that the value of doing so is probably watered down since last year, especially since our last Black Friday. And you see everybody has the same plugin. And then when you look at the quote-unquote EDM lo-fi side, everybody's got the same sampler. And everybody has something nice to say, and everybody's waiting. And what happens, bro? What happens? Those people leave that channel, come to our channels and ask us or DM us, what do we think of this thing? Is this going to be cool or not? Are you going to fuck with this thing? And what I didn't want to do is piggyback off of these half-ass reviews and this struggle music and then put the secret sauce still of approval on the shit, sell 1,000 copies because I had to buy my own version of it. So I'm kind of caught in between.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of caught in between because, yeah, I should buy my own and do my thing. But I know if I buy it and do my thing, I just made valid all the other fuckboy reviews who got theirs for free. So I'm kind of like trying to figure out how to weave that line a little bit. Like, because you know what I'm about, you know what I do, then you already know I'm on the mailing list. Why don't you just hit me up with one and we'll call it even. But no, they don't. They kind of leave us out of that version of marketing. They leave us out of that because we're not their demo, and we got to respect that. But at the same time, they always come to us to ask us to talk about it, and then all of a sudden we become their demo, and that's the part that's kind of looks funny in the light to me. That's the only thing I kind of wish was different. Was like, all right, if these people were so good at these early reviews, then why do you have so many people reviewing the shit?
Right.
When at the end of the day, it's just going to boil down to whether or not one of us do it. So
no, I think my bad, dude. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go for it.
No, I think. I mean, this is like. I mean, now we're venturing into like you guys seeing like private conversations because this is what MG's talking about. Like, this is a conversation that we have probably. You say like once every 4 weeks,
right?
Just about. And my whole and I'm militant. You know what I mean? But I think the reason why I can afford to be is because I don't make 100% of my income off of YouTube and being an influencer. So I can afford more. Yeah, I can afford to be more rigid. And I like in talking to my girl and everything, I've grown to have a more of an appreciation or more empathy for guys like you and Av, who you don't have like a weekly paycheck. You have to have to get it how you do out here. And but my whole thing is, man, fuck these people, bro. They need to they need to understand what our place really is, because to echo what MG saying, like I got a piece of gear that I'm not going to give any pub to, right? But I got a piece of gear. I was waiting for it for a very long time. I finally got it. There's no tutorials on this thing. Everybody who has it doesn't know what the fuck to do with it. And everybody kept on asking me, yo, CMP, you got yours yet? You got yours yet? You got yours yet? I'm not buying it till I get yours. I'm not buying it till I see what you do with it. I want to see what you do with it. And if you do the types of things that we know you could do, then I'll go think about buying it. That right there is a level of influence that even the smaller companies, they're just not receptive to. And what I'm interested in knowing is not so much like putting it out there publicly for people to know that that's what goes on, but I'm more interested in why is it why can't a business mind recognize that? Why is it so hard for them? How do you not see this?
Because they haven't watched the SM Zeus videos yet.
Oh shit!
Oh shit! Here we go again.
Man,
I think your man's really getting 1 million views on an Isotope plugin when only 1,000 people buy him.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, let's really talk about that though. So, and I even be that guy to spice it up even more. Like I observe somebody like Chuki Beats, like every single time he does like a review on something, he always gets like 100,000 views or whatnot. And then, but yet, if people that don't know, for everybody that's in the audience right now, when you get the most amount of views, if they're legitimate views or whatever, you sit higher in the search, right? It's not about your views, it's about watch time, quote unquote, or allegedly is what I can say about YouTube right now. But so you sit higher in the search, the more people watch it, the more people don't just click through it. If you have a lower click-through rate. So Chucky Beast is like one of the YouTubers out of the United Kingdom, Europe, something like that. And I don't want to disrespect everybody out there in Europe, so I'm just saying I just don't know. But he did the same review as me, MG the Future, on Halftime or whatever. Mind you, and me being full transparent, even in that video, I beta tested Halftime, but yet his video got 100K people allegedly were more interested in his video than ours, but yet he sat lower in the search than me, MG the Future, Mr. Different, was it Sarah 42 Hill, like people like that or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, what is the conspiracy where you have to have that many views on something for a product that's already for a niche audience in the first place? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and the whole entire video, by the way, is just him going, "Oh, this is better than Gross Beat," and I'm like, bro, Gross Beat does more than just slow down, right? Like, yeah, and I'm gonna put it on here. I'm gonna put it on my, you know what I'm saying? So stuff that's embarrassing. That's fucking embarrassing. Like, that's fucking embarrassing.
But you'll see a lot of that, and you'll realize that these plugin companies don't sell 100,000 plugins. So
right,
who is watching this video 10 times a day? No one. So where are these views coming from? India. Why? I don't know. So it is what it is. But hardware companies are even harder because you can't pirate hardware. So you going for someone who has 1 million views, I don't know, man. Let them figure it out on their own, man.
Oh, they know the deal. I mean, it's not like, come on, man. This is the internet. Like information is privileged to those who know how to get that information. So when you go ahead and when you sit there and you cap off of SM Zeus or whatever these dudes is doing, however they're doing their tutorials and having these 100K videos for the same 808 tutorial that every last one of us have done. Like, these companies know of who is actually has the real audience, who's actually doing the right thing. They continue to holler. They might play into, hey, this guy still got 100K views, but if they sit there and look and they see that people aren't clicking on the quote unquote affiliate link, and they start to think and understand that these cats are out here faking it and capping it, and it's not going to work very well for their company in the end game. So.
How much longer do you think how many more product cycles do you think it'll be until that realization comes to fruition?
When we get tired of doing it, so we're not going to benefit from it. Our younger brothers are going to benefit from it.
And even with that, I just think when I look at it and whatnot, now I see that we was talking about like. Are we still gonna do certain things? Of course, I like to make content and whatnot, and if it's easy for me to sit there and actually teach something with the content, with the product that I like, by the way, because I'm not gonna sit here and just because you're giving me free software, sit there and like, oh man, the software is great, oh I love it. No, that's just never gonna be me, because we have, unlike these other cats out here that's with this cap life, this clout token life, dog, our end users go and they want to attack us, even when we're right and we explain things thoroughly. We get end users that attack us at a bigger level.
Oh yeah, you'll get the emails and DMs, man. Oh Lord.
Yeah, as we're customer service and we're actually the customer, we're end users. We're speaking from an end user perspective, not from oh man, we're above you because we have 90K views or 90K subscribers, and you only have like 1 or 2K on here. Yet you could do the exact same thing as I'm doing, like for real. But like, I'm not gonna sit here and co-sign bad software. I'm not gonna co-sign bad hardware. I'm not gonna co-sign or copy tutorials just because they get a certain amount of views and that is really easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is all about feeling, and to the detriment to the fact that maybe perhaps I might not be relevant as somebody that's sitting there talking about a Young Thug song that that has some Electro X preset that I've heard before.
You've heard it before because they renamed one of yours,
right? You know what I'm saying? Or or even a sample. Oh my God! Like I can't even get. Like, I didn't even get where MG was coming from until I actually saw a Serato sample video using the VST plugin, the verbatim word for word of something that he covered. And I'm like, bro, I can see why like he would sit there and want to hawk down on people like that, because there is a reason why that people will get upset about that. And then at least by the bare minimal, you can say, hey man, I watched such and such, man, give a shout out. But hell, when we sit there and go on Twitter and there's so many damn excuses of people copy each other. Absolutely. We're not saying that people don't copy great ideas. We're saying that don't steal an idea and not credit. It's freaking plagiarism, bro. I know we're not writing shit, but damn, it's plagiarism.
I think people overstand that. I think people get butthurt when they get caught, bro.
That's all it is. Yeah.
And the YouTube algorithm will snitch on you. Just click on one of your own videos and look at all the related videos with the same plugin, and you'll see how many people are using words like next level and out of this world and alien shit. And they're like, yo, why are you even using my language? See, I'm not even offended that you have no idea how to fucking use the plugin and you want to try to do the first 5 minutes of my video. Knock your heart out. I don't give a fuck. But don't use my words, bro. I use my words for a reason. Don't use my words. You
your non-scripted true thoughts.
Fuck out of here, bro. Yeah, man, you don't even think like that. You don't live like that. You don't shine like that. Don't use my words, bro. Like, right. That's what I'm saying. Is like you could tell it in their language. It's not so much in the fact that we all got an Isotope plugin to review. It's in the language. Like, yo, I just watched MG's video, and I'm going to try to put this on some struggle trap shit real quick, and hopefully no one notices and clicks on my link. Like, that's what irritates me. It's not the fact that you're not hustling. It's that you're lazy hustling. You're dirty macking. You're half-assing this shit, and you're funking it up for the rest of us.
When the trap paradigm finally ends, that's going to be the most curious thing. And see, I'm not wishing that the trap paradigm will end. I just really want to see when the creativity has to step into process. When the people finally said, "Man, I am tired of the spin Zeta-8," like the people. Like,
well, it's gonna happen next year. We've had this current paradigm since
2003.
No, since
if we're gonna talk about like the actual trap sound, quote unquote.
The actual trap sound has been here since 2010. All right. Everybody in you guys' chats can, try to be like, oh, well, it's actually 2000. Just stop being idiots. It's been around since 2010. Every 10 years we get a new musical cycle. We have boom bap in the 90s, and then towards 98, 99 we got Cash Money and No Limit Records, and then that carried us through the 2000s with Little John and them boys, and then we got our Lex Luger Southside Metro vibe. And we'll get another one in 2020, bro. Like, that's how the shit goes.
And the missing formula is in that. It's not the producer, dog. Because I for real hear people say, "Hey, man, I need a." I mean, we it's a circular conversation at this point, and I'm reaching a point where, hey, man, I'm ready for the end game. Like, I'll go and look for somebody that can be different from this emu guy, but like. It's the artist, basically. The limitations of the artist being able to do whatever and wanting to sing or rap on whatever. Because, again, y'all have already talked about it. The thing that made a lot of the tempos and the Swiss beats and all that was the actual artists themselves. Like, being able to get the vision. Or even if we're going to look at it from a inner workings of the producer / music producer / artist, they worked together to make something that was going to be different. You feel me?
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is we'll get that because this, as much as people want to believe that music is random and merit-based, it's not. You know what I mean? It's just not. There's going to be a directive from the companies that says, hey, we need something new because we need to push a new style of pants. So that's what we're doing, and that's how it's gonna go, man. Because that's how it always goes. I mean, if you go to New York right now, I'll bet like all the girls are like walking around with baggy pants or some shit. You know what I mean? And it don't look like that in Atlanta because fashion and culture disseminates through us, or culture comes to us by means of the corporation through music and fashion.
Yeah,
that's
trickle effect.
That's that's why it was important for Kanye to get into fashion, and that's why, that's why it's a move for other musical creators. But you'll see it, bro. 2020, 2021, as predicted, it'll be here. It'll be something different, and for all you fucking nerds out there, it's not going to be boom bap. So just relax your mind, bro. Graph isn't going to come back and save hip hop.
That line. I guess we can wrap this up, man. Shoot, 2 hours, man. Goddamn. I know people's throats are parched. So
this is how long Rosa Parks was in the back of the bus. Y'all need to relax.
You look like you about to hit a fatty. That's what you look like.
And don't be basic, and we'll see you on the next one.
Hey, until next time, guys. Peace.